Welcome to the screencast that is designed to help you present the best What Does It Take to Win a War paper that you can. First, let's take a quick look at your MLA formatting. Your document margins should all be 1 inch. Your font should be either Times New Roman or Arial, and your font size should be a very consistent 12 point. Your MLA heading on the top left includes your name, your teacher's names, Q2 expository essay, or whatever your teacher told you to put there, and then the date that it is due, done in the European style, which for this paper is 16 November or NOV and 2015. Also take a look at your title. Now, if you chose to use What Does It Take to Win a War or any title, make sure that it's properly capitalized. Capitalization means that you have the first word and the last word and any important words in between capitalized. You should make sure that your paragraphs are all indented. That's what enables us to have just the double spacing. And you can use that just a tab or about a ½ inch or so is very typical. You can underline your thesis statement if your teacher has asked you to do so. Hopefully we will find it because it should be at the very bottom of your introductory paragraph. We're going to take a quick look now at a little pattern for introduction paragraphs in case you're still having a problem with that. Here is the basic pattern for a regular introduction. You start with a hook, something that's interesting, a statement, a fact, even a quote. If you do use a statement, fact, or quote at the beginning, please make sure that you discuss it a little bit. Connect it to the rest of your introduction. Make sure that you give the who, what, where, when, why, and how. This provides your reader with the necessary background in order to understand your paper and to know more about your topic. Finally, state your thesis statement at the end of the introductory paragraph. It should only be 1 sentence. You can make sure that you mention the colonists or the patriots, that you mention the American Revolution, and that you also have included your 3 body topics in the proper order, which is the order you discuss them in your paragraphs: leadership, motivation, and resources. If you need to take a look at your introduction again, go ahead and hit the pause button, look it over, and make sure you've included everything, and then come back. Next, we'll be working our way through the revision checklist. Now, it's best if you can go over this checklist 3 different times in 3 different ways. First, you'll go through it together. We'll go through it together now, and you can look at your paper and make any corrections that you see. Then, you should read your paper aloud to another student, or have another student read the paper aloud to you. Sometimes hearing the text makes a big difference, and it can help you save a lot of points by catching a lot of different errors. Third, you can have someone at home help you out. Now, we're not implying that you should have them rewrite or change anything. You still need to take ownership of your paper. However, sometimes someone will see some capitalization errors or punctuation errors or a missing word, for example, that we don't see, and that kind of help is always really useful. Okay, your What Does It Take to Win a War checklist is on your Blended Schools page. You might want to put it down in Notability so that you can check it off. Starting with your funnel introduction, did you start with a general info on your topic, a fact, a quote, etc.? Your thesis statement again should be the last sentence in the introduction, and it should contain the following element: colonist, patriot, citizen, something like that, to identify who it is that you're talking about. Mention that it was the American Revolution, and then give your leadership, motivation, and resources. In your first body paragraph, you'll want to take a good look at your first topic sentence. Does it include both of the names of the leaders that you will be discussing? If not, go back and incorporate those 2. This is kind of an umbrella sentence about leadership of your whole topic. So, you should have evidence from sources, that's cited evidence, to support your first leader that you're discussing, and that should include an in-text citation for your evidence. Then you want to analyze your evidence. Give the so what. Why is it important? How does it tie back to our essential question? You should use a transition and then move on to evidence from sources to support your second leader, again with an in-text citation for that piece of evidence, and also analysis or so what, tying it back to our essential question. Your conclusion sentence will also kind of give a so what aspect of it as well. Your motivation paragraph is set up in a very similar way. You have a topic sentence that talks about both ideas of motivation that you will discuss in the entire paragraph. You have evidence from a source to prove your first example of motivation, including an in-text citation for that evidence, and then including an analysis. Don't end that section with just a quote. You always want to, when you have a quote, explain it. Use a transition and then move on to talk about your second example of motivation. Again, include an in-text citation for it, and we'll talk about those in a few minutes as well, and then analyze it and then finish off with a conclusion sentence. I think you're getting the pattern now. The third paragraph for body paragraph is resources. Again, one nice umbrella topic sentence that incorporates both topics of resources that you will discuss in the paragraph, your first evidence, your in-text citation, your analysis, a nice transition to go between the two, your evidence from the sources to support the second resource that you will be discussing, including an in-text citation, again, analysis. This can be something as simple as one sentence saying, what does it matter? Why is it important? One conclusion sentence that can be a restatement of your topic sentence. It's a little bit more of a so what. Now, in your conclusion, you're going to restate the thesis in a new way and give the so what. Let's take a moment to look at a different document for that. Here is the pattern for the inverted funnel conclusion. First, you're going to restate your thesis statement. You can still use the words leadership, motivation, and resources. There's no need to come up with synonyms for them here. But try to use different words in the rest of your sentence to restate that. You can take a moment here to summarize your paper, and it's often handy to just take one sentence for each body paragraph, summarize that body paragraph, and kind of put it all together. Finally, you can provide the so what. Now, here are 3 different examples that you can use, and we've had some great conversations this week about what the so what really means. I know it's a difficult concept. I think you're really getting it. Are leadership, motivation, and resources still what it takes to win a war in 2015? Unpack each one and be sure to explain how they connect. So I'm sure that your answer is yes, we still need leadership, motivation, and resources. You know, how does the example from 1776 inspire us even today? What kind of long-lasting impact has the example of our forefathers had on us that is still affecting how we approach wars today? Another way that you can think about this is, okay, the colonists won. Now we know how because we've just discussed it at length. So what? What's the big deal about it? What can we take from that? What have we learned from it? Now here's where we want you to go a little bit deeper than, well, you know, America, the colonists won the revolution, and so if they hadn't, we wouldn't be free. That's a fine place to start, but we do need to go deeper. For example, think about the contrasts that we would have had we lost the American Revolution. What would our government be like? What would our laws be like? What would our control be like? What would our finances or our country really look like if that had happened? If we were still attached to British rule, I think our country would look quite different. And you can discuss some of those ways and make that your so what. Just make sure that you go a little bit deeper. Don't just repeat things that you may have heard in class, but actually think about it and analyze, why do these differences matter? If you need to hit the pause button to work more on your conclusion, I would stop and do that now. Okay, we're back to the checklist now. Your MLA format is something we've already gone over a little bit, but here are the details again. It's important that you work on capitalization in this project. American Revolution should be capitalized. Revolutionary War should be capitalized. Grammar, past tense. Certainly this was in the past, so all of your verbs should be in the past tense. Don't jump back and forth between present and past. Your third person point of view means that we are not using words such as I, we, me, our, you, and your. Find a different way to say it. You can often use colonists, patriots, American citizens instead. Try to have a variety of simple, compound, and complex sentences. That means some of your sentences should be more sophisticated. If you find that you have a lot of short, choppy sentences, work on trying to combine them using proper punctuation. You should also have complete sentences, not run-ons, fragments, or comma splices. Check your spelling. Since you're doing this on pages or docs, that should help you, but you might still need a couple sets of eyes on there to help you pick up any other errors. Your punctuation, your comma usage should be correct, and again, the capitalization is quite important in this project. Now you'll see a quick dirty dozen here. These are things to avoid. So let's not say, now I'm going to tell you this. Let's not say, you know, I hope you enjoyed my paper, or in my opinion, or like I said before, or even wordy phrases such as due to the fact of, or in regards to. We should not see any exclamation points in this paper, and I would strongly suggest that you avoid questions. If your reader has never wondered how we won the American Revolution, that your paper's not going to get read. Okay, we are also avoiding contractions and words like never and always. We can get caught up in those. We're going to avoid the word thing. If you can, also avoid the word said. Now, advanced writers will try to have more dynamic verbs and even avoid the be verbs such as is. That's pretty impossible to do, but it's challenging, but you can find yourself some better verbs if you really work at it. Here is the rubric that your English language arts teachers will be using. You're familiar already with the focus, content, organization, style, and conventions. Let's focus on everybody getting at least a 6 out of 8 on every single category. Now this is going to require that you make sure that you stick to the question. Focus on what does it take to win a war. Focus on leadership, motivation, and resources. Your content should be specific. It's not enough to just say, well, George Washington was a leader because he rode his horse along through the troops, or because he was confident, or because he inspired others, or because other people said he was a leader. You really have to find evidence that proves that he was a leader, and that's really the way that you want to approach all of your categories. Now, organization is important. We want strong topic and concluding sentences. We want to see evidence of using transitions, and we also want to make sure that you know how to use the MLA format that you've been taught. Your style and diction should be formal, scholarly, and academic, and that's partly why we're not allowing you to use personal pronouns. Your grammar, your revision, your editing, these are all very important parts of your paper as well. Here you'll see your content rubric for social studies. Especially notice in the expert column the actual requirements so that you make sure that you have everything that you need. Your in-text citation is a critical piece of your paper. Every single time that you have in-text citation or parenthetical citation in your essay, that entry should match up with an entry on your works cited page. If there's a page number available, then please use it, but don't make up page numbers for online sources. If you have a page number, use your punctuation in this exact method. You'll notice there's no comma after Davidson, but then the punctuation at the end is at the end of the parentheses. If the author's name is not available, then you're using the title of the article or entry. For example, Franklin Benjamin or Nathan Hale. Never use an in-text citation that is just a URL or a website such as history.com. Always put that information into EasyBib until you have a proper MLA citation. Finally, let's take a quick look at the works cited. You'll notice that works cited is not underlined, bolded, or larger. It is centered at the top of its own page, followed by your entries for your citations. Now these will be in alphabetical order. You'll see that Cordery comes before Davidson and Durham, etc. You won't use all of these, and you will not be using the bolded headings. Those were only there for your convenience. However, you will still double space everything, and you'll be doing reverse indenting, which means that the first line sticks out on the left and the second line is indented. To do this, you'll probably need to go to the end of this line at the top and hit the return button, come down here, and then probably hit the space bar. I hope this has helped you. Come to any of us for help, and good luck.